Hi everyone, my name is Rick, and I'm trying to make a short video out of this so you guys can get a quick understanding of how this all works. If we take let's go ahead and import STL model into Orca slicer. So here we have the bottom of a little container, and it's kind of a nice little container. You can put it in your pocket, put SD cards in it, or whatever you want to do to it. And it has a lid that slides on it. Let me grab a lid right there. And this is what the lid looks like right here. And it's, let's go ahead and we'll take that lid and we'll flip it over. Okay. So what happens is the lid has these rails on it. So there's no rail on this side of the lid. It's just flat. The rail wraps all the way around. And this lip on top of the bottom is what holds it on. And it's got two indentations in it right here. And then the lid actually has a little like nub right here that holds it in these places. And it works really good. It's a good little design. Let me show you where I got it from. So here's where I got it from. Maker World, and it looks like the designer's name is Arc 3D Printing. And like I said, he's got I don't know if there's any, I don't see any pictures. I thought on the other one here he had a pictures, yeah, right here. So this is the same thing, but then he shows you how to put text on it. And I went through and made a video on how to put text pretty much on any 3D model, but he's got SD, USB drives, SD cards, magnets, all kinds of stuff. So anyways, that's where I got it. That gives him credit for the design. And it's a good little design if you want to print some of them, download it off there and print some of them. So like I said, we have the bottom of the container right here, and we have the lid right here, okay? So the problem is if we were just to go, say we want to resize this, say we want this thing like, 30 or 40 millimeters tall, and we go here. These are cutouts that I made just to show everybody what happens when we start scaling these. That's why a lot of times it's not really a good idea to scale things. So here's a cutout of the original. Let me move this guy over right here. Oh man, I want to make this video fast too. All right. So here's a cutout of what it should look like, and then this is what happened to it when I scaled it. You can see when I scaled it, and what I mean by scaling it is, I just select the part, I went up here, clicked on scale, and I wanted to scale it higher for the Z. So then I would just start scaling it like this right here. Well, at the same time I'm scaling this groove around the whole part is getting bigger, and the bottom is actually getting bigger to the floor of the container. So that's not going to work for 3D printing, because you'd be wasting extra hours on just printing this thing. I'm going to hit undo so it goes back down to where it should be. And this is just an example here of how extruded it got when I did that to it. Okay, so we can't scale these. Some things you can scale and it's no big deal, you don't really care. So the only way to really be able to do this is to cut it up in three. Let me get this out of the way here. Cut it up into three separate pieces. Okay, so we have the bottom, we have a center section. The bottom we don't want to scale because the floor got thicker down here. The top we don't want to scale because this lip around it got bigger. So the only thing we can really scale to make it bigger is this center section that I cut out here. So if we go and we click on this center section, I over here in my objects, I actually I named the center section right here so I can maybe get to it easier. But so we have this, the top section. Let me grab the top. Let's see. So it must be this one, right? Gosh dang it. Which one is the top? Well, it would be, what assembly would be? That's the center one. That's the lid. This is the another section because it's not highlighting that one. Okay, there's the top right there. And to change that and change the name in the object menu, I can just hold my left mouse button and then it'll finally let you do that. Let me put top. Let me top section. Okay. So that's our top section right there. So, and what we'd want to do is we're only going to be able to scale this center section. See how there's nothing that's going to change when we scale it? So all I would do is I'd click on that center section. I would go up here to scale, and then however tall I wanted it, I've already moved my top to that height. And then I'm just going to go ahead and now really what you really have to do is go to your move tool. And now I'm in the move tool. I still have the center highlighted, and I'm going to bring that down until it touches this bottom part here. So when I bring that down, that's good right there, okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to scale, because now I need to scale this part. And if I hold control and then my blue right here, this is my Z, and I can pull up from the top only. If I don't hold control, it's going to scale the whole part on the bottom, which is probably not really going to hurt anything in this situation, but that way, you know, you can just scale it different. So I'm holding in control and I'm only moving the top, okay? So now what I would do with this part, if I was done with it, I would just go ahead and hold my left mouse button in and the shift, and I would select it, and I would go ahead and right click, and I would click on assemble. Now I'm not worried about doing that right now because I'm going to show you how I got to this place right here. Okay, so here's the bottom of a container. I'm going to take this and move this lid over here out of the way. So here's a bottom container. And let's see what orientation we're looking at. Okay, I'm going to move it back a little bit. So we're looking front to back at this container right here. So what I want to do is I want to cut this in 3 sections, just like I did in that example. So what I like to do is I click on left so everything's looking pretty straight. Then I'm going to go cut it. Now see where the pink is going to be one part and the green is going to be another part. Now, if you ever want to change this axis of how you're going to be cutting this, if you were to actually change this, let me go left side. So okay, this would be cutting right now. It's going to cut the green as one part and then the pink as the other part. Now say I wanted to cut the other direction. So you can see the 2 halves right here. Say I wanted to cut in this direction right here. I could pull this all the way around, hold it to the center mark here, and see if you're moving this around, if you hold it on that center mark, it stops at the every 90 degrees, or 45 degrees actually, and the outside one would stop every 5 degrees. So now I could cut it this way vertically. Now I don't want to do that. I want to cut it the other direction. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this back the way we had it. And if I move my mouse down, I can center here. Okay. So now I'm just going to go around to the front here, and I'm going to say, okay, well, if I want to move this is going to be the 2 cuts. I can hover over here. Let me come down a little bit. When this turns yellow like a tennis ball, then you can pull on that right there. So I'm going to pull that down because I want to make a different cut there. Okay, now I'm not getting into the curve. Everything is still straight here. So I'm good with that. I'm going to go ahead and cut that right there. So now I'm going to have two parts there. And what it's going to do, it's going to drop to the bed, because there's nothing. That's what slicer programs do, is they drop everything to the build plate. Nothing's telling it to hold that up right there. Now, so I got two parts right here on top of each other, and I really can't tell which one is which. Now, they're highlighted over here, so I can see which one is which. And I'm going to click on this right here. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to, the part with the lip on it, this one I have selected right here is the bottom piece that's going to stay. And this piece right here is the one with the lip on it. I want to be able to move that up in the air. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the build plate over here. And this computer is running kind of slow. But I'm going to right click on an empty space. I'm going to go add primitive. And I'm going to have a cube. And that cube is going to come out in the center of the build plate. So here's the cube right here. Let me zoom out. Come on, computer. All right, so here's this cube that I just made, a primitive cube, okay? I'm going to put it back here for now. And the reason is I need that cube to help me elevate this part that I have right here, okay? So what I'm going to do is, let's see if I can choose, let's see. Okay, so that's the part I want, because I can tell, because this white is engulfing this the part up here. If I were to click on that part, that's the bottom part that I just separated. So I'm going to click on this part right here, the top part, and then I'm going to hold my control and I'm going to click on that cube back there. Now I have the cube and the top part highlighted, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to assemble those. Okay, now the program thinks this cube is staying on the build plate. So now I can go over and I can highlight this this part right here. Let's see. I'm going to go move. Let's see if it moves yet. Nope, it's moving the cube too. All right, so I'm going to hit undo. Got that back on the build plate. And I'm going to try to figure out, and I should have marked this, but I didn't. So I think this is it right here. And that's not it. That's the bottom one. See how the bottom one snapped back down to the build plate? That's because I don't have it hooked to a, I don't have it assembled with another part on the build plate. So let's go, let's see if that's it right there. I think that is it right here. Okay, so there's the top. This cube is allowing me to move this up. All I did is I went to the move tool. Now what I would do is I would just move this to the height that I want it. And I don't really know what that is. This is not right up here. It's not really telling me that it's 15.38 millimeters. But if I really wanted to check, I could go here to the measure tool. And now one thing you have to do though is you have to have the parts highlighted to measure them. So I'd have to go there, hold my hold control in, and now I should have both those parts highlighted. So I could put my first measurement right there on this green. See, it tells you up here the green, and then select another plane. My other plane I'm going to select is the top of this. Okay, so that tells me right now that's at 33.410 millimeters. Now I think you can you pull this? No, I guess not. Huh. I thought you could pull that there. Yeah, it's still wanting to measure, but all that does is tell you the measurement difference. So if I did want to reset that one, I could just go here. I hit clear on the right side and reset it here. And so that's 33.410. Now, if that's the actual height I wanted, then I'd be good to go. If that's not the actual height I wanted, then I would just get out of my measurement tool. I would highlight. I still need to get out of the measurement tool. I would highlight that section, which that'd be that assembly. When you click on it, the assembly over here on the right side, it's going to highlight it over here. So this is the assembly that I'm working with. In that assembly, I have that top part and that cube. So if I click on this, it's going to highlight that top part, and then I could hit the move, and I could remember what the measurement was, and then I could just move it in the amount that I wanted. Like say you were going up to 40 millimeters. Now this isn't going to tell you the right measurement here. So then, like say I say, okay, that's good. I'll take that right there where it is. Okay. So now to actually really size this again, I really do need to take another cut out of this because it's not going to let me size it right if I wanted to. So I'm just going to go grab, let's see here. I'm going to select this so I know what assembly it is. So it's going to be that top piece right here. That's the piece I want to cut. And it's not going to let me cut it because I have this other well, how do I explain that? I have the cube. It's not going to let me cut an assembly. Okay, I just have to cut one object at a time. So I'm just going to go down here. See how the pocket container bottom that I have selected? It's not an assembly. It's on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that because I can cut quite a bit of it here before it gets into the bottom, which is fine. So I'm just going to go here and I'm going to cut that. And I need to get that tennis ball to turn yellow right there. And then I'm just going to, now there's, I can move it and it's kind of hard for you to see it, but right now that's my cut I'm making. The green and the pink is what's actually going to be cutting. Okay, so yeah, I'm good there. I'm not cutting into the floor. Kind of looked like it for a bit I was cutting into the floor there, but I think it's just the way the colors turn up when you're tilting it there. So I'm going to go ahead and do my cut. Now I got two pieces laying on themselves. So now I need to go over here and I need to figure out, it's telling me you got A and B. So there's my A one right there. See how it's so much skinnier than the B? The B is the full height one. So here's what I need to do again then. I need to right click anywhere on the bed. I need to go add primitive and I need to add another cube. I'm going to grab that cube. Computer is, what are we doing, computer? Okay, so this is the new cube that I just now created. So, and you can size these however you want to. You can make them as a small. It just has to be a part. It doesn't matter how big it is or anything. But I'm just going to set it over here for now. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that short section of this right here, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. Then I want to go here. I'm going to hold Control in, and I'm either going to click on my cube here or click on my cube over here. So I'm just going to do it right there because it's easier for me to see. See how the cube is highlighted now, and the this part is highlighted. Now what I want to do is I want to right click and hit Assemble. Now when I go over here and I click on this part, let me get on that part right there. So it would be this part right here. Let's see. Nope, it's not that part. It's not that part. Sometimes you do need to kind of take the time and label these. It does make them easier to figure out what's what. Okay, there it is. See the lower one of those two parts. So now if I click on move, now I can move that cutout up. And I'm going to hit Control Z and I'm going to try to hold that straight because you can get off, and I don't want to get off. Okay, now that's that's actually the wrong part that I'm trying to move here too. Okay, let's see something here. Either that or I forgot to no, I made it assembly. Okay, so there's the cube. Did I assemble the wrong one? No, that's it right there. Okay, I just grabbed the wrong, I just had the wrong one selected. Okay, so now I have this thin layer here, and that's the part that I'm actually going to scale, because it's not going to affect the bottom, and it's not going to affect the top with this lip in it here. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take my scale. So I'm just going to go over here and click on scale. And then I'm going to go ahead and, as I raise the Z right here, I'm going to hold it with my left mouse button. As I raise that, it's also going down. So I'm going to get quite a ways, because it's not going to connect on the top and the bottom at the same time. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to move. And when I'm going to go to move is I'm going to go and bring that down. So I'm bringing it down into that other part. And when I bring that down into the other part, right there, now I can go back to scale, click on scale up here, and now I'm going to hold control in and grab this Z blue square here, because I don't want it scaling on the bottom. I don't want it going down past the build plate. So I'm going to hold control in, and then I'm going to move that up right there. Okay. At that point, what I could do is I could reassemble these, or I think it would actually just be fine right now. So depending on what I want to do, let's see something here. If I hold shift in, put a line around them, let's see if it'll let me assemble it. It will let me assemble it. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to start getting rid of all these squares, because now I'm really done with them. I don't need them anymore. So when I try to select these squares like this, it doesn't want to let me select them, because they are in assemblies. Okay, so there's different ways of doing it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to select it over here, and it'll let me select it over here in the object, where it won't let me select it over here, which is kind of weird, but that's okay. So I'm just going to select that cube, and I'm going to hit delete. Then I'm going to select that cube. I'm going to hit delete. And all these other cubes, I don't really need them anymore, because well, on these ones over here, I kind of do still need them, because they might be holding those parts up still. That's what they are used for. But in this situation right here, we have this part right here ready to go, and we've changed that. We've made it taller by cutting it in 3 sections. And then we could do the same thing on this side if we needed it to, or the front side. Either way, we could cut it vertically here, and then 3 sections, and then cut it out, and then make it wider, exactly like we just did on the vertical side. But what we would want to do is we wouldn't want to cut it right in the center here, but because it has these little nibs out of here for the top to lock into. So in that instance, if I was wanting to cut this to make it wider, we already made it taller, and it's a good part. It's ready to go print. Like if we clicked on print here, let's see how long it's going to take. I might have to pause it. And it does say I have some errors, because, yeah, I know I got errors, because I got parts sitting all over that don't want to be next to each other and stuff like that. Okay, so it's not able to actually, I got too much stuff off, and I got a cube over here that's not even on the plate. So let's and it is highlighted, so let's go ahead and delete that. Let's see what that does when we delete it. This is still up in the air, so Must be this cube that is using for that though. But if we get back here to this one right here and say we want to make this one wider, we already made it taller. Now we want to make it wider. So what we can do is, I want to be looking straight at it. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to come down because I want to be able to see these cutouts right here. So I'm going to select this. And when I select it, then I can go over here and I can grab the cut tool. Now it wants to cut horizontally, and we don't want to cut horizontally. We want to cut this vertically. So I'm just going to grab this right here. I'm going to put my mouse on the inside so it locks on that 90 degree there. If I was on the outside, I could lock on any of these 5 degree out here. If I'm out here, I wouldn't lock on anything, but if my mouse is over those, it'll lock. Same way here, it'll lock there when I'm inside now, and it'll lock there. Okay, so now we got the pink and the green. This is where it's going to cut this, but that's not where I want to cut it, because I don't want to cut it where that indentation is there, because I don't want any more work. So I'm going to hover here and get the tennis ball, and I'm going to move that plane over right there, because I don't want to get in this curve. I can just, do a straight cut through there. And the beauty of when you cut vertically like this, we don't have to use those cubes anymore, because the parts are sitting on the build plate. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll hit perform cut. So now if we were to select, I'm going to deselect it and I'm going to select this. I've got this part right here, and I've got this part right here. So it looks like those are actually in 3 parts, which they could be, because I don't know if I ever assembled the other ones back, or it doesn't really matter. But if you click on those, it'll tell us like that's one part, that's another part, that's the center of that part. Then if I click on these over here, see where I'm looking and saying these are parts? So this is a part right here. So I could actually just grab this and move it. See how it grabbed and moved? But I don't want to do that, because I'm still cutting this vertically. Okay, so I can go ahead and I want to highlight this again, because I want to cut this again. Now I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way. So I hit my move tool, and I'm just going to move this out of the way, because I really want to make this wider. And at this point I would be trying to figure out how wide I want to make it. But now there's some things that I could do here to cut it. I really need to cut this. I don't want to cut it over here anymore, because it's got this curve. I don't really want to cut on this side of the indentation, because I don't want, for some reason, this part growing or changing right here. Okay, so what I would rather do is make one more cut, like right vertically right here on this side of that deal. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this part. Well, I'm going to have to get out of the move tool first. Now I've got this highlighted. I just clicked on the part. You can see these white reference marks. I'm going to hit my cut tool again. Okay, so it automatically comes up as a horizontal cut. You can see the plane right here. So I don't want that. I want to turn this vertical. So I'm going to turn that plane vertical. Kind of reminds me of your work planes in Fusion 360. So there we go. I'm going to cut right there, but I don't want to cut right there, because I want to cut right here on the left side of that indentation. So I hover over this right here, get my tennis ball. Then I'm able to move that cut to where I want it. Right there is where I want it. See, one side's going to be my pink side, one side's going to be my green side. And you probably want to have these checked where it says keep here, because that means you're going to keep the part. Okay, so now, even though this looks like one part right here, this is actually 2 parts right here. So I deselected it, reselected it, and this is the part that I just made. So I'm going to grab the move tool and move that over. Okay, so now this is the part. I'm going to hit escape twice to get out of the move tool. And so now you can see I got my parts, and what I want to do is I want to stretch this center part with the scale tool. And to begin with, I'm gonna grab this part right here. So I'm gonna select that. I'm gonna go up here to scale, and I'm gonna just hover around here to look at some stuff. So what I want to do is I want to work with those green ones inside of here. This is either my X or Y in here. So I can go ahead and move these. Now see how that's stretching there? I'm going to go ahead and keep going and see which one I run into first. I ran into the right side first. Okay, so I'm going to close that gap here on the right side. Then if I hold Control in, now I can just move the one side here. I'm not moving the right side anymore because I'm holding Control in. I'm left mouse clicking on that green one there, and then I'm just going to go right into the edge barely. I just want it to go in there, you know, enough to close the gap. Okay, so now I've done that, and now I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to assemble all this again, just because now I've made my total part. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to hit assemble. Okay, so let's go ahead. Oh, I didn't know you could scroll like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm scrolling over here. So you can scroll in and out over here if you just click anywhere on the build plate. So there we go. We took this part right here, and what's kind of neat about it is we can go over here and we can say, okay, I'm going to select the part and I'm going to cut it. I don't want to cut it. I'm gonna hold my right mouse button, and I'm gonna drag on the deal to get it out of the way of that pop up there. So I want to cut this, but I don't want to cut this horizontally. I want to cut it vertically, and all I'm going to do is what would be like an inspection in Fusion 360. So I'm just going to cut that right there. Okay. As I have no idea what that music is starting for. Nice music though. All right, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go ahead, and since I just made my cut, I'm going to highlight this side over here, and I'm just going to delete that. Okay, and I just want to go here and I'm going to orbit, drag this over, and I just want to show you that we've made this part here, and it's perfect. You know, we didn't increase the bottom, we didn't increase these ridges here, but I do see a problem, and it's just something else that you would have to figure out when you're doing this, or you can just move it over. But you see how this see how the where lost this here. See how my little indentation moved? So I'd want to figure out where to make those cuts so that doesn't move. Or maybe I'd even want to cut that in the middle. I don't know for sure. But that's just an easy way, or not easy way, but that is a way that you can perfectly cut any of these 3D STLs or meshes, any of these files. You can make them out of whatever you want, and you can take what I've just given you, and I do have another video also. You can take that information and you can fix or do whatever you want to any part. You're not stuck with you know, any part that, like the other day, I wanted to make like a sponge holder for my sink, and they had it real wide and I wanted it real narrow, and I was able to take that same part without doing any CAD work and making that design. Okay, well, I appreciate you watching the video, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm sure me or somebody will answer them for you. And I really do hope you take this and run with it, though, because what I've just shown you, you can change any part that you want. You're not restricted by any size that somebody would have on a part that they made and offered up for free, like on Maker World or something like that. So thanks a lot, and I will be doing a similar video if you're interested in learning Fusion 360 and kind of doing the same thing in Fusion 360. So thanks a lot. See you later.